All right, welcome to the Big Mike and Little Ant channel. Welcome back, I should say. And we are back with our bread and butter, our creme de la creme. What we started at was movie and TV reviews.
Oh yeah.
And we are doing a full-on spoiler discussion today for the new movie that came out last week on Christmas Day, Wonder Woman 1984. We both have seen it. He saw it in the theaters. I saw it at home on HBO Max. So we actually get some different perspectives there,
Right.
which is also great. Um, and he actually has a small review on and now Your Mama Knows channel, a fresh coming out of the theater type review on there. But this will be a full-on spoiler discussion with
Right.
lots and lots of details. So right now, this is your moment. If you have not seen the movie, to leave. That's it. Your time is up. Come on now. So, go ahead.
That's it.
Yeah.
I also want to say, Mike, this is our very first episode of 2021. Guys, today is New Year's Day. So this is awesome. Yeah. Just want to put that out there. So when you guys see this, just know like, wow, this is their first episode of 2021, kicking it in with a spoiler discussion. Yeah, Mike, I will also have that review. Guys, that review is just a short review. It's spoiler free. But again, I want to reiterate this. If you wasn't paying attention to Big Mike, this is your chance to tune out because this will be a full-on spoiler discussion. It will be spoilers, spoilers, spoilers. We're going to get into this thing and our feelings. And this is going to be cool. And I think the greatest part of it is Mike, as he said, he watched it at home on HBO Max. I went out to the big screen. And so you're going to get both contrast and how we feel. So
yeah,
where do we start, Mike?
Well, let's talk about the so the plot of the movie. Let's just get into that first before we get into the actual movie. So Wonder Woman 1984, as the title would say, was set in 1984. The plot basically is Wonder Woman after the last one, which was during World War I, about 70 years later, she's all alone by herself, trying to keep herself from being caught by doing her Wonder Woman type things and doing brave heroic things. And all of a sudden, something happens. And I'm going to start non-spoilery first. Then we'll go to spoilery. All of a sudden, something happens where something that she's been wanting and wishing for many years has finally come back. And she doesn't know why. And when she finds out why, it's something that can destroy the world. So she has to go into full Wonder Woman mode and make some tough decisions. I'll leave it at that and whatnot. So from that, so let's start with, so that's the plot. When you went into it, preview-wise, what were your expectations? How about that?
Okay, so here's, maybe this is what made my opinion of the movie what it was. The first trailers that I seen wasn't that impressed. Like, I mean, it looks, it's Wonder Woman. It looks okay. The last movie I liked a lot, but the trailers didn't impress me. For one, I'm not really into going back. So 1984, I mean, yeah, it's a lot of nostalgic moment. 1984 was awesome, obviously, but wasn't that big. That didn't grab me, right? But then they start, the last two trailers they came out with looked really good, epic moments. She's fighting Cheetah. The fighting looked cool. The whole scene where the trucks flip up, she jump in the air, slow motion, land, push two trucks apart with her body. It just looked like, whoa, this got some epic moments. This is probably gonna be my type of movie where it's just a lot of action. It's just a blockbuster. Like you can't, you're holding the edge of your seat like, whoa. So I went into it like, man, and I'm going to the movies, right? And we went to Dolby Digital. Now Dolby Digital is rated IMAX and Dolby Digital, and Dolby Digital, if you look around, is rated a little higher than IMAX. Now, the only thing IMAX had over them is their screens is 75 feet tall, and theirs are 65. So, but clarity, I mean, personally, I feel like they were similar, but people say that the Dolby's supposed to be clearer. But what was amazingly different, because the week before we seen a movie in IMAX. So I'm going a week later, see a movie in IMAX, see a movie in Dolby Digital, and the sound, man, when stuff was happening on screen, it was like boom. You was like, oh, but all right, so to end this, my expectations was pretty high. I was like, man, this is gonna be cool. It's gonna kick off the superhero movies for me. Well, I guess end the year off with superhero movies, and it's gonna be pretty cool. So I was really excited to see Wonder Woman.
Yeah,
Expectations was high.
I think that mine were higher from the beginning because the last movie, I thought they were so I thought it was so good. The last movie, also because it was supposed to be a summer blockbuster at first, so I thought, man, it's going to be a great movie. Happy to finally have it out. I think part of it is the pandemic fatigue with not being able to go see a lot of blockbusters throughout the year, and even the movies that came out, they weren't really blockbusters, so to speak.
Right.
So I felt like finally we got a blockbuster we can go see. So I think it drove my expectations. So and I thought trailers were great too. So so that's where I'm at with that. Let me think. So that's about the expectations. So let's start. Now let's get to our spoil discussion. I just want to get into this really quick.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Let's start from the very, very beginning of the movie and go all the way through because we can spoil it throughout. So. For me, the best scene in the entire movie might be the first scene in the entire movie when they were in Themyscira, her home. Her home. And I honestly thought that was some of the best scenes in the first movie, to be honest with you. They should do a whole movie that's there. I swear to God, they should. But I thought that opening scene was great. CGI was a little but because I thought when the ladies were jumping, you could kind of tell they were on strings a little bit. There was like some very slow jumping. Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I think also they when they jump, you had that feeling of a Cirque du Soleil type of like, like all too. Yeah, it was. Yeah, but,
a little bit. But I thought the obstacle course was great. I thought it was fun to watch. I thought it was good to see how strong all these women are and stuff like that. Yeah. Even though Diana was the fastest because she was obviously a demigod. Even as a child, but still it was good to see all of them. I thought the message at the end of the part was a little weird or whatever, but I did love that scene. How about you?
Yeah. I like the scene too. You're probably right. Yeah, that scene was awesome. It felt, I mean, when you watch a movie and you get that, like, okay, she's the underdog because she's so little, right? So you immediately think like, okay, she's really little, everybody's grown, right? But of course, throw out the demigod part, right? Just as a visual scene, opening up the movie, you're like, they got this little kid, and then she's running, and you're like, oh, and she's doing amazingly well in this obstacle course. And you're like, whoa. And then the whole part where, again, spoilers, the whole part where she falls off the horse because she's looking back, gets smacked in the face. You're like, no. So you're rooting for her. You're like, come on. And then she realized, oh, I could take this shortcut to go down the hill so I could get to my horse. Now that part I was like, but you left your bow and arrow. So I don't even know how you got, okay. So anyway, it worked out. She pretty much almost wins. And then, her aunt grabs her off. Right. And I'm like, dude, come on. So it gives you that it slapped away your satisfaction of that feeling of, oh, wow, the underwhelming character can win, right? Can overcome this. But I get, I was a little annoyed by it, I think, as you kind of alluded to, but I get the whole point because there was a whole thing about truth, right? The whole movie had to do with truth. We'll get into it. And her whole message was, listen, if you win by shortcut, then there's no truth to it, So you want to be truthful to yourself. So, and as you see as she goes on,
I kind of would have rather her win. And the show that there's always you can always find a way, kind of almost like
me too. Me too. So I think that would have been a better uplifting message, right? For me, right? But I think they're trying to hold in that because I felt like she wasn't really cheating. She still she just got to her horse, which was at the same spot where the horse would have been, right? Because the horse kept going and she fell off. Right. So I felt like she didn't really cheat. She just found a way she kind of got screwed over. So she found a way to get back on her horse. Now, if she slid through the little shortcut and it put her way ahead, but this just got her on her horse that never stopped running. So that's why I was a little like, come on, man.
Great scene. Visually, what you think though?
Great visually, I was into it. Again, like you said, the setting on Mascara, like the oceans in the background, they're running on the beach, the sand. That was cool. It opened it for me. It started the movie off like, all right, cool. I'm leaning up in my chair like, oh man, let's go.
Right. I felt the same way. Then next we got the mall scene, which was I got the high at the mascara, and then I got the low at the mall.
Yeah, because you know what? I felt the mall scene like so. Remember before I seen it, you was like, "Oh, you might like it because it's throwbacks, right?" You was like, "It's gonna be throwbacks for you." I felt like they was being way too cheesy, right, with the throwbacks. Yeah. This was really fan service and like the height of trying to play on your own. I mean, everything. The whole movie, I guess, because the scenery, but the mall scene was like they had to show the old arcades. Like, I mean, obviously you're gonna do it, right? That's the setting, but I felt like it was really cheesy with the guys running, and then it was like the one guy bumped into people and they knew he was the bad guy. So he looked at the other guys like, we gotta go. He's like, oh, I'm thinking like, nobody know you're even with them. Why you gotta run? I would have just kept on walking out. I felt like that was kind of stupid. And then it
felt like an 80s movie, like at that time. Almost like we haven't progressed. And I'm like, you can set a movie in a different era, but still have like make it like current storytelling and current plot and whatever like that. I feel
like Stranger Things. Stranger Things is set back in the day, but it has a nice flow to it. Like this, I felt like they was trying to be cheesy kind of, and like it dragged on too. Like how many times did she catch the guy, and the guy escaped, and she catch the other guy, and he escaped? I was like, Wonder Woman, come on, just wrap them up and let's go. It was
and when the one guy they split up, the one guy grabbed the kid, and whatever. Why wouldn't the other guys be like, yo, all right, I'm out, man, fuck that? Why would they stay there?
Yeah, he's like, stop, dude. Like, oh, so you got a conscience now.
Right. It's crazy. Like, I would have been like, dang, I hope you don't do that. I'm gone, bro. Like, that's crazy. I understand.
It's like they didn't do the writing right for these villains, right? It was like, you guys make no sense right now. And it was just.
And when was there ever an antiquity store inside of a mall? That's part that got me too. Like, they stole these ancient artifacts from the store in the mall.
That is right. Yeah. Well, technically, so I guess in the back of the store, they had like all the ancient, stuff and all that in it. Remember, that was like the secret part. Those guys those guys got notified that, or somebody let them know that in the back of this store, there's, these, they got
visually, I thought that was a horrible scene. I didn't think it was necessary. I felt like we had two openings for no reason. I feel like the themistry opening was fine. That, I guess it was a way to like show her in her full uniform. Secondly, bro, she's breaking the cameras in the mall, the four of them, and stuff like that. But there's all these other cameras inside the mall. There's not just 4 cameras in the whole mall. Right. It's like, that's dumb too. Like, I guess she's trying to like make sure nobody sees her. But first of all, what are all the people who just saw her with the lasso and everything else inside the mall?
Sorry.
You getting donuts?
I mention this real quick. I was like, I'll treat everybody to donuts, and I usually get a Boston cream and a glaze. But all right, let's do it. We don't need to edit it. Let's just go.
Gotcha. So like everybody still saw her inside the mall, so it's not like she didn't exist or whatever like that. So that part got me too. There's a lot of plot holes which we'll get into.
Now, when I watched that scene, it almost made it seem like this was her first time coming to that city.
No, she lived there. She worked at the
No, I mean as Wonder Woman, because it almost made it seem like I was like, okay, so is this her like debut as Wonder Woman in that city, or did they say like it was weird?
Nah, I think it's supposed to be like she does these deeds all the time, but she tries to keep hiding it when she does it.
Right.
Whatever. Okay. But I feel that's stupid. Whatever, in my opinion, because she lives there. She got an apartment. She got a whole she works. She got a regular job and whatnot. So it's very interesting to me. Yeah. So anyway, and she does other deeds and stuff like that too, like the one where the girl's still at the store, and then she saves the lady from I think something was gonna fall on her at the wedding or something like that. Yeah. But the girls who stole stuff at the store, she never chases them. Like, I don't understand. There's a lot of plot holes. Anyway,
she's a bad hero.
But I'll tell you why they showed that. Because they had to have a scene of her doing, and this one, get into this too. They had to have a scene of her in full uniform, because from that moment, the next time she put on her uniform as Wonder Woman was 1 hour and 20 minutes into the movie, which is ridiculous. Yeah.
You know what's so my favorite superhero is the Hulk, right? And the Eric Bana Hulk was terrible. It took 45 minutes until you seen the Hulk for the first time. That's bad. So I never will forget that. So the same thing here, like, oh wow, it was an hour and 20 minutes until you seen the whole outfit again.
Right. That's a long time, bro.
Very long time.
That's crazy. And that scene, she didn't do much, but get some henchmen. So it's like I see you again for an hour and 20 minutes. Like, what am I watching here?
Right.
A romantic comedy? That's what it felt like almost a little bit.
Right.
Anyway, moving forward. So that same rock that the guys tried to steal winds up at the same Smithsonian that she works at. And that's when we meet Barbara.
Whoa, what a
coincidence, right?
Right. What a coincidence.
Right. And that's when we meet Barbara, this kind of Michelle Pfeiffer from Batman Returns type character. Very
the mild-mannered, quirky, nobody likes girl.
Right. Think she's not pretty, guys are not hitting on her, whatever, like that, quirky, whatever. So anyway, we'll meet her, and she's kind of desperate for friendship because who asks somebody to lunch the first day they meet them? Oh, whatever. With a guy. That's like weird as hell.
They was trying too hard to sell these, like, when they do good character development, they was trying too hard to create a character and make you feel something for them, I guess, or make you believe them. Like, it was just too much.
Right.
Yeah.
So, and she was like, I can't walk in heels. Well, don't wear heels. Like, it's crazy. I don't understand. It's like, that was her whole big thing. I can't walk in heels. Okay, well, don't wear heels. Anyway, she meets her. She's very impressed with Diana. The Rock comes in. They don't know what it is. They kind of downplay what the Rock is. As a wish.
They think it's a fake.
A fake. They don't believe it. The guy wished for coffee, and the coffee came, but they didn't think nothing about it and whatnot. So they do become friends, I guess.
Well, hold on. You got the coffee thing. So the guy comes, just to put this out there. The guy comes, and the whole thing about the Rock is it has some inscriptions that was in Latin, and Diana started reading them. And so the barber was like, oh, you can read? She was like, oh yeah, whatever. So she's reading it, and it says, oh, something like, if you make a wish, it will come true. We'll leave it at that. And so the guy comes with the coffee, and he says, no, a guy comes and said, I wish I had a coffee. Oh man, I wish I had a coffee today. And they're like, okay, whatever. And he says it out loud by the Rock. He walks by, and the guy come and say, hey, I got an extra coffee. And he bump into him. He's like, oh, I'll take that. And he said, this must be my lucky day, and walk off. So at that point, it's alluding to, does this Rock really grant wishes? All right, go ahead.
Right. So how you feeling at this moment in the movie? You still like into it?
Okay, here's the weird thing. Or I'm not even gonna say this yet. I'm not gonna say it yet. At this point, I'm still like, okay, seeing where it's going, I from the commercials, I see Barbara, so I know Barbara's gonna be the villain, but I know there's supposed to be a other villain. I'm totally gonna get into this, so I'm gonna leave it alone. So at this point, I'm like, all right, I guess let's see where this is going. It's not like it opened up great. We agree. The mall scene was cheesy, but it wasn't that type of action I would like, because it was real cheesy and it went on and on. Like, you're so much more powerful than these two robbers, and this scene shouldn't be so long. Like, it was driving me crazy a little bit. But okay, cool. So you get this point, they meet up, Barbara. Okay, I understand her character. So at this point, I'm in my seat and I'm like this. Okay, I'll bite. Let's go. Let's. So I'm all right.
I'm the same way. All right. So at this point in the movie, so the guy wishes out loud about the coffee, as you alluded to. Diana holds the Rock, and I guess in her mind mentally says, I wish, well, she didn't actually say, I wish Steve was back. She said she wished she had her love back, or whatever it was.
Right. She wished she had like something that she most value or missed the most, or something like that.
So, all right. So beyond that, Diana and her have lunch. They had this little talk or whatever like that. That's the pointless scene. We're gonna talk about that. And then we get to Barbara, who's walking home by herself from the job, and she gives the homeless guy the food to show. They kind of show that Barbara has a good heart at first, which is good. Then she gets attacked by the other drunk white guy, who walking through the park, and I guess he was trying to assault her in some kind of way. Diana comes out of nowhere and whatnot, and she knocks the guy out, and Barbara and Diana says, it's just a little shift of momentum, and then she walks away.
Because she hits this guy, and this guy flies really far back. So Barbara's like, how'd you do that? And she tried to play it off. Also, she just says like, oh, I was going to my car and I overheard you. But obviously she has super hearing or whatever. So she knew to get there really fast. But she tries to, just play it off to Barbara. Oh, yeah, I was in the area.
Right. So then Barbara, now was Barbara holding the rock at this point? I don't remember.
No.
Yeah.
No.
But I know she
Barbara,
does say, I wish I was like Diana. She says that, right?
No. She goes back to the office.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because they went to lunch and she was on her way back to the office. So she gets to the office and holds the rock and say, I wish I was like Diana. I wish I was funny, smart, pretty. I wish I was funny, pretty. I wish I had confidence. I was as strong as Diana. And she falls asleep on her desk after she make the wish with the rock.
Got you. Okay. All right. Yeah, so that happened.
Matter of fact, and I don't even think she grabbed the rock. The rock was on her desk and she just makes that wish.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, cool, sitting at her desk.
Yeah. All right. So cool. So she falls asleep, comes back or whatever. Next thing we see is I think the next day we meet Maxwell Lord, played by Pedro Pascal, also the Mandalorian and whatnot. So I'm gonna talk about that too a little bit, the contrast. But
well, before you get to that, let's just so because the rock granted her wish and because she fell asleep at work, she was wearing the same clothes she had on the next day. So to show how the rock helped her out, she got up, took her shirt, and the clothes she wears like really they try to make her not look pretty or attractive. But she takes her shirt and pulls it down to a skimpy little tight dress, and like she dolls herself up, glam her hair up a little bit. So remember, guys, she's wearing the same clothes she had on the day before because she fell asleep at work, but she's able to make herself look way much better than she did the day before wearing the same clothes. So it's just showing that The Rock made her have more like
confidence,
a better style and everything.
Yeah, and more confidence too as well.
Yep.
So Max shows up at the same Smithsonian. He's apparently this famous like I guess kind of promotion guy. He does these infomercials and blah 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 this and that.
And it has to do with oil.
Has to do with oil, yeah. Right. And everybody knows him his face because he's on TV all the time, except for Diana who gets played on. So she's all impressed by Max. Oh my God, it's Maxwell Lord. It's Maxwell Lord. Of course, she's smitten because he's a TV guy and whatnot. Right. And she also don't got a lot of guys in her life in the first place. So she's all smitten. And he sees this instantly and knows he can use this against her. And he takes some time. He takes her. They go on a tour of the place. He sees that The Rock is in her office at the time and whatnot.
Now,
but they don't.
Here's the thing. He intentionally came there. Like he knew that The Rock. Remember when Diana stopped the crime and all that. So he actually knew The Rock was there. So he intentionally went there because he asked about The Rock. So his whole plan was to go there and try to figure out where The Rock was at. So that was the whole thing. Yeah.
And while you're on that part, let's stop for a minute because my thing was like, of all things in the world, because he was at whatever this like the oil tycoon or whatever like that.
Yep.
Like, how did he find out about this rock? And how did he think this would be the only way for me to make money with the wish for this rock? Like that part kind of got me a little bit. Right? This because right, think about it. It's this ancient mystical rock that Diana later on had to track some random ass guy down with a random ass book to find out about. How the hell did Max find out about the shit?
Right. That made no sense at all.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like it's crazy. So anyway, he goes essentially to this place to find out more about the rock. When he goes there and meets Barbara, finds out the rock is just in her office on the desk or whatever. So, okay, he makes up a plan to get the rock, which we'll get to later on. Meanwhile, he meets Diana. She senses something's not right about him already. She don't know who the hell he is. She don't watch TV at all. So, she's not impressed by him.
Yeah, she doesn't own the TV.
Doesn't own the TV, and she can tell something's not right. All right, so then he goes back.
Let's set the scene though before we move on. So Diana comes to work, and Barbara's sitting on the desk, and he's and Pedro Pascal is there, and everybody's laughing. Barbara's telling jokes. He's telling jokes. So Diana comes in, Wonder Woman. She's like, something's different. Yesterday she was the boring, scared girl. Now she's laughing and joking, telling jokes, and she's got her hair all looking nice. She got a little dress on, which is really a shirt. And so Barbara's kind of like something's up. So she meets Pedro Pascal, and I'm just trying to build the scene because Yeah, it was like she walks in to see like it's such a big difference in Barbara. So something's up. She's like, that was really strange. And
all right,
and all right, so
and then she meets Pedro, like I said, or Maxwell. She don't like him or realize something's off about him at first and whatnot.
right.
Instantly. So then he leaves. Next scene,
Well,
go ahead.
Well, the big part that we got to add is he invites her to come to this big company event that's going on later on that night. And Diana says she doesn't attend these events. And so he's like, Barbara, you should come. So we had to put that in there. That remember that.
Wait. I thought they invited him because it was their company event.
Oh yeah, he was a guest. I apologize. But she said she doesn't go to the events because he was like, "Are you coming?" And Diana was like, "No, I don't attend these events."
Gotcha. Okay. All right. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, he was a guest. Yeah, because her whole job was there at the time.
Right.
Like that. Right. So he says that he'll attend these events and stuff like that. But I guess we'll get to that in a second.
Well,
or whatever.
Yeah, I know where you're going with it, but yeah.
We'll get to that in a second. All right. So we follow Max. We get rid of Diane and Barbara versus Mark. We follow Max. Max has a driver. He looks like at first he's this really rich guy who's doing so well. He's got a driver picking him up from there. He drives back to the place. He gets there. It's this huge office that he works for. He walks in. You see the receptionist there at the front desk. They're like, "Hey, Mr. Lord," blah blah this and that. Takes the elevator up. Meanwhile, the one receptionist is chasing him, letting him know that Alistair, who we find out later on who it is here, stuff like that. All right. So we get to the top of his office, and it's not what it seems.
Oh man, it's torn up, broken up. Like it. I mean, it looks bad. So what you think you see when you come in, he's really a fraud. Long story short. And so Alistair, he walks in and he looks. Hey, and all along the girl's trying to tell him, hey, your son got dropped off. It's your weekend to watch your son. So he's a father, and apparently I guess he gets his son every so often on the weekends. So his son's there. So you find out that he's a fraud. You find out that he is a father because this is important. And then you find out that that pretty much you kind of get his moral compass is he's cheating people in order to make money. So if you want to jump into that part, because I think that's
well, keep going because when he gets there, a guy is there when he gets there,
right?
Yeah, or whatever.
He drops the guy who drops off his kid. Now I guess that's
no, not that guy. I'm talking about when he gets in the office.
Oh, you talking? Okay, I got it. So when he gets into the son's dropped off. Okay, it's his weekend. Got to take care of his son. He walks to his office and there's a guy there, and the guy's like, "Listen, I found out that you're stealing my money." He's like, "What are you talking about?" So the guy apparently does a deal with him for oil, but come to find out that the different places that he said they could get drilled for oil was dried up. And the guy's like, "It didn't take much research for me to figure this out." He was like, no, but I got a plan. I got a way to get you the money. He's like, "No, I want all my money back now." Like, he's like, "You got to later on to get my money back." So now we find out, oh, he's a scam artist. He's on TV, all these commercials, but we find out that he doesn't have all this money and he is lying to people that he could get them oil and drill in certain spots. They got a board up and shows like probably about 7 or 6 different places where he said there would be oil, and the guy's like, "There's no oil, they're dried up."
Yeah, which I also want to say is another trope of the 80s, because 80s was a big oil drilling decade and stuff like that. And there was a lot of people making investments and Ponzi schemes and things like that. And there's a lot, if you go back and look for people who are younger, do your research, you'll see that there was a lot of fraudulent tycoons in the 80s robbing people for their money, stuff like that. So I'll take over there. So after that, the guy leaves. He's upset. You could already tell that his son don't say many words, but I guess he feels like his son is disappointed in him, and he wants to be a better father and show his son that he could do better. He kind of gives him little speeches about it, like, "I'm going to be great."
And hold up, let's mention his son overheard this whole conversation.
Correct.
So that's the thing. Yeah.
Right. Which we'll get to that later. So anyway, so the next
scene, at least should say that he told his son that the guy's lying. What you heard is not true. The guy's lying. He's a bad man. Don't listen to him. He's lying on your father. So at least I had to throw that in there.
Right, right, and that your father is great, or going to show you he's great, blah 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 blah. So this was a lot of his motivation, to show his son how great he can be and stuff like that. Overall, so the next scene is, I believe, get me wrong, is back at the party, right? That's the party they're going to,
yes,
or
yep.
Okay,
so
so they go to the party that we alluded to earlier, and I believe Barbara and Max are. No, Max meets up with Barbara there. And of course she's smitten. No, bro. We missed it. There's a whole montage of Barbara getting ready for the party. And she's like, getting dolled up. I'm not gonna say that, but she's getting dolled up.
Right.
The stores and blah, blah, blah. It's like an 80s montage.
Right, yeah, she put on a dress and it was like, oh, that fits you well. She put on this super tight dress. Now she's like the pretty girl. Yeah, because she buys that dress at the store and the lady's like, oh, it fits you well. She put on these big heels.
Right.
And now she can walk in heels.
Right,
or better.
All of a sudden. Yeah, or better. Right. So as she goes in there, all the guys are like looking at her, turning their heads. Right. She's loving the attention, blah, blah, blah. Then Max comes in. Max is starting to flirt with Barbara. They're talking or whatever, this and that. Then we see Diana come in. She's a little higher than them, walking through too. And I believe she only came because she didn't trust Max. Because she already said, I don't go to these places and stuff like that.
Right.
Meanwhile, every guy in the party hitting on Diana. Hey, Diana. So there's a bunch of random guys saying Diana. Her coworker who always hits on her, he's trying to hit on her and stuff like that. We also see at the same time Barbara and Max still flirting back and forth. At some point, Max says, "Can we get a little quieter and go to your office?"
Right. He makes her think that he wants to pretty much, hey, could we go somewhere quiet? Because I want to, hang out with you alone.
Right. So, but he's doing that, as we said before, he knows The Rock is in her office on the desk and stuff like that. So they go back to the office and whatnot, and they're, starting to talk and flirt and kiss, whatever like that.
Right, yeah, he started kissing her,
yeah. And he's talking about The Rock, saying, I know people who can kind of investigate it for you, let you know more about it. She's like, I can't. He's like, yes, you can, giving her more kisses and blah, blah, blah. Next thing you know, he grabs The Rock, right? So, meanwhile, we see Diana still walking through the party looking for them because they already left, as I just said before, can't find them. Everybody's again, Diana. Then one guy says, Diana, and she's like, why do you keep following me? You don't know me. And then he says something that would pique her interest that only her ex Steve Trevor would know.
From 70 years ago
would know. Right. So, and we're gonna stop it after this for a second. So they go to Steve. They go to this guy who looks nothing like Steve. Diana's like, what did you say? And then he says something else that only Steve would know. The camera pans around, so we see that the wish has apparently come true. And the guy is reincarnated. Steve is reincarnated back in this stranger's body. But we, as the audience, see what Diana see, which is Steve, but everybody else sees this guy. What did you think about this? How they brought Steve back?
I didn't like it. I thought it was kind of weird. I thought it was all right, so it's two parts. I thought it was a good way to bring him back, but I thought it was weird because, so again, like what you said was weird, right? This guy is really this other guy, but she could see that it's when she look at him, he's Steve, sound like Steve. So to her, it's Steve. But she even knows that this is someone else. Right. So that's really weird to me because when you hug and hold and kiss him, is really somebody else. So for me, I'm like, dude, that's kind of strange. But I guess that was a good way. I guess they probably had to figure out how do we bring Steve back, and that was what they chose to do. Instead of he just magically came back.
Bro, I hated it. I hated it altogether. And I feel like that you got a magic rock, right? Who does all types of shit. And we'll talk about that later on, right?
Yep.
But just bring them back. You know what I mean?
Just bring them back.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like, the rock grabs the rich and Steve's here. You got to have a big explanation that he came back in somebody else's body, but we see him as Diana sees them, but everybody sees him another thing. That's confusing to the audience, by the way.
Yeah,
that's weird.
And it's creepy. It's not, even when we get a little bit into it, it's like, oh, that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second because that's becoming a big controversy, by the way. We'll get to that in
Right.
a second. But anyway, so and long story short, at this moment, Diana forgets about her chase of Maxwell Lord and Barbara,
Right.
because she has Steve, quote unquote, Steve back. They're walking outside near the Lincoln Memorial in DC, and they're talking, blah, 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 this and that. All of a sudden, which we're going to get into, they go back. No, let me think. Time for this. I think we show Max for a second. Max has the rock.
Right. So she gave him the rock. Yeah, Barbara gave him the rock, said fine, because she was so into him.
Yeah, Max goes back to his office. And another thing is, Max got a house. So I'm like, yo, why would you go back to his office after the party at nighttime? Why you go back to the house? Like, you know what I'm saying? But anyway, he goes back to his office. And I thought this was kind of genius or whatever. So, because you never see this. So he has this wishing rock. Well, it was genius and stupid. So instead of wishing, I'm rich and I could buy it and I can get paid my money off, he says, no, I wish I was the rock.
Right.
Which means he can grant unlimited riches at that point and whatnot.
But it's still a catch-22.
Yeah.
Because he can't grant his own wishes. He have to get someone to grant a wish for him.
Correct.
It's such a weird thing. I mean, he pulled it off, but that was a weird way to do it. We'll get into it.
Well, I think the MacGuffin is, which we can talk about now, I guess, is that, I guess because he studied the rock so much, which we don't ever see him do, but he realized that if I grant a wish, I can take what I want from them. And that's the project that he really wanted. You know what I'm saying? So I think that so that he feel like I can grant wishes, I can take whatever I want back, I'll have everything. But again, you could have just wished for, let me be the richest man in the world and call it a day.
Call it a day.
Right. That's or be the biggest old tycoon of all time. Whatever you want to say, you could just wish for that. Because it's granting everything. If they can bring somebody back from the dead, somebody else's body can do it, it can do anything at that point. Anyway, so then we go back to Diana. Another thing is weird. Steve says, I don't know what happened. I woke up in this apartment.
On a futon.
He didn't. Yeah, I immediately look in the phone book for you, blah, blah, which is like, okay, so you just find her out of all people, blah, blah.
Bro, this was bad. Yeah, go ahead.
And how do you know she's at this party? Like, you look at the phone book for her, but
I'm sitting in the theater. I'm like, okay, he woke up in this guy's body, so he's in this guy's apartment. He woke up on the guy's futon. He didn't know what a futon was. She explained to him what it is, right? And they're trying to, the 80s, whatever, right? And so, I looked in the phone book, found you, and then I found you at the event. Wait, what? Right. I'm trying to remember how they even explained that. Like, what? How did you track her down at this event?
Right, that's crazy. In the 80s, right? No cell phones, no nothing, right? No internet. It's like in a phone book, like, all right, maybe she's here. Like, what? That's crazy. I understand that. So anyway, but so they go back to the guy's apartment. Also weird, because why would you take him to your apartment, Diana? I don't understand that.
That was really weird. I thought to myself, like, so you went back to his house. I'm saying the same thing. Like, why you just didn't go to your house? But anyway.
Right. It ain't his house. It's her house, or whatever, like that. So, I mean, it's his house. So I don't realize that. So anyway, they go back there. Steve sees himself in the mirror, and like, I can use this guy's body, whatever, this and that. Whole time, I'm thinking the guy wasn't dead. He was alive. He just stole his body, whatever, like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so weird, or whatever. So, anyway, long story short, they have sex. This is the weirdest part of the entire movie to me. Go ahead. I know you have to understand about it.
Bro, I was like, this is so creepy and nasty. Like, okay, Diana's with this dude, and she knows he's not Steve, but looks like Steve, but she's like, whatever, I'm going to jump his bones. And I'm just like, dude, this is a little cringy right now. You're this superhero. You pretty much raped dude.
And that's what they said. And they were saying that. And I could
really? So I didn't hear anything about,
bro, I'll probably watch, you know me, I'll probably watch 20 hours of reviews and talks about it, stuff like that. I get it when I watch it. Bro, that's becoming a huge thing. I mean, it was huge amongst regular people, but now it's even becoming bigger amongst like mainstream critics that and they were like, now think about it. What if this was a guy and a girl and he used her body to sleep with them and stuff like that.
Yep.
Imagine the backlash with the whole Me Too movement. Oh my God, it would be ridiculous stuff like that, because they would think that you use the guy's body. I mean, use this girl's body to sleep with them, and didn't even. It was whatever and stuff like that. Like that was very, very cringeworthy, bro. And the fact that she knew, like you said, makes it worse. And the guy is alive once again.
Right.
Not like
That's the thing.
Yeah,
that's
he's
the
got
thing.
family, he's got friends, he's got a job, he got everything else, whatever like that. So you just ignore it because your long lost love came back in the person's body.
Yeah, that was bad writing right there, man.
Yeah,
they should have just not made that happen. They should have made like she's the goody two shoe and she wouldn't go to that level. But at the same time, she loved him and missed him so much. How could you skip that out? So like they wrote themselves in a bad circle,
bro. And if you look at the credits, because the guy he does talk at the end, right? You see it, right? So his name, because remember how like in a Tenet is just the protagonist or whatever. Okay. Well, this guy, his name is Handsome Guy. He didn't give him a name. This is Handsome Guy. Or whatever like that. So imagine they catch somebody called Hot Chick, and then the guy just sleeps with the body. That would have been a super backlash, bro. I'm telling you right now. So, horrible. Handsome Guy. Can't you get a guy a name? Like, come on, man. Anyway, so that was cringeworthy to me. So, and then it eats the guy's Pop-Tarts. I'm like, come on, you can do it. Like, eat this guy with stuff like that. Eat the guy's Pop-Tarts.
I guess at the end of the day, he was him. So. But yeah, he woke up eating his Pop-Tarts. I guess they're trying to show that he never had Pop-Tarts before because obviously he's from 70 years ago. So he's like, oh my God, I'm eating these Pop-Tarts. And she's just looking at him like, oh my God, I get my guy back. And then he hug again. And it's just like, are we really doing this?
Right.
Oh man, okay.
And realize the whole time she like he doesn't really look like that, because in the mirror he doesn't look like that at all. So it's like so weird. And he's bigger than Steve, a little taller, so not like he's like the same person or whatever like that. It's so weird.
Yeah, it's
anyway. So and Pop-Tarts were also another 80s trope they put in there. They came out in the 80s, blah blah blah.
Right.
All right. So then they do this whole 80s, another 80s trope, the whole getting dressed montage for Steve, which was in so many movies in the 80s, right? Where they're trying on outfits. He's like, no, not that one, not that one, not that one. That went on too long for me. I'm like, bro, pick an outfit. Move on, all right? At this point. But they're trying to show all the parachute pants, the leather pants, the fanny packs.
With the scarf around the neck.
Yeah, it's like, we get it, bro. It's the 80s at some point. You know what I mean? Like let it go. All right. So then.
Now let's just real quick, because we're going to tie this in. There was an outfit that she really wanted him to wear that she liked a lot, but he was like, no, this isn't me. We're gonna get to that.
Right. All right, cool. So there's three things happening right now at the same time. So after they leave, they start going on like a tour or whatnot, which we'll get to that. Barbara is starting to realize that, something's really different about me.
Yeah.
So she wakes up trying to open her refrigerator and she breaks the door off.
Right.
Whatever. Because she's strong as hell. Because she said, I wish I was like Diana. So her wish is coming true. She's getting the whole Wonder Woman type strength and stuff like that.
Now, that kind of bothered me, though. Not that I need to be a stickler, but I was like, in real life, you wouldn't pull the door off. You would just pull the refrigerator from where it's at. Like, the door's not going to rip off. The refrigerators usually have wheels, and if they don't, you're just going to yank the refrigerator out of its space. You're not going to pull the door off, but whatever.
Correct.
That crossed my mind when it happened. I was like, that would not happen, but all right.
So she's going to lie that she's strong. But then we pan to Max, who realized that he has his wish. So he goes to the guy who said, I need my money or whatever, walks in his office and, has this big speech. Remember, like you said, they have to actually touch him. Now, this is what the movie said. They got to touch him, right? Or touch the rock before, but touch him because he is the rock to get their wish. I'm going to get back to that later. So he grabs the guy by his hands and he says that, don't you wish that, what did he say? Don't you, I have my money or something like that? Or
don't you wish, something like he had enough money to be able to, somehow that he had enough money that he would be able to get his money. I'm trying to think exactly how, because I want to set the tone right. But somehow that don't you wish that I had enough money that the deal would have worked out? Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. Well, the guy makes the wish, holding his hands, and he says, done, granted. And in return, I'll take your whole company, and somehow, some way, you'll want to getting out my way, or whatever. You know what I mean? It's that and the third. So that's when we realize Max can grant the wish, but take what he wants in return.
So, because when he gets up and leave, he goes downstairs and like the FBI are all pulling up because somehow the wording was like the company became his and he like he did a fraudulent activity or something because the FBI pull up and everything as he's leaving.
Right. FBI for like tax evasion or something.
And the people,
like that.
the people are on they're getting all these calls like trying to tell him like the FBI is coming and all this stuff.
Right. So that's Max's story. Go back to Barbara. Barbara goes to the gym and her 80s gym attire, of course, and whatnot, her whole, spandex or whatever, this and that. And I'm thinking, I'm like, yo, those 80s gym outfits, I was like, I can't imagine those today at the gym right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because especially the way girls are built today, oh my God, guys would be like, they wouldn't even pay attention to the gym and whatnot. So anyway, she goes to the gym and like a leotard and whatnot, but she goes to the gym, her 80s gym outfit. And she starts working on these weights or whatever to see how strong she really is.
Now set the tone. She's only going because she wanted to test to see if she really is strong. So it was kind of like a cheesy way for her to do that because when she pulled the fridge, so she decides, let me go to the gym. So she grabs the one little weight and she's like, you can see the look on her face like, all right. And then so she's going down the line and grabbing bigger weights because she's testing to see like, am I really strong?
Right. So she grabs one little weight. Then she grabs a bigger curling weight. Then she's like, you know what? Let me go to the whole bar. And she gets to the bar and she does like a deadlift, I guess.
She does a deadlift and put it over her head. And she has a massive amount of weights on there at this point in time.
Yeah, and all the guys at the gym are like, yo, you see, this is crazy, whatever. Because she's a very petite woman or whatever. I ain't gonna lie. I would be shocked too if I was in the gym and I saw that.
Definitely. I'd be like, what the hell? I would think that was fake or something. Like,
right. Me too. All right. So she realized that she's extra strong, but still doesn't know. You think she knows why? She don't know why, right?
I almost feel like, because I think when we get to the next scene when she comes in and Diana's spinning the thing, I almost feel like she caught on to, remember she was like, wait, I want it to be like Diana. And she catches on like, oh, I'm super strong.
Okay. All right. So then
this movie was a little hard to follow, man. Some stuff was just
follow and way too long, but we'll get to that in a second as well. It was over 2 hours and a half. That was too long for that. That was like an end game type. That's crazy. Anyway, so we like I said, so 3 things are happening. Maxwell goes there. She goes to the gym. Diana forgets about Max and that she's like a little worried about The Rock and goes on a tour of the 80s, right? And she told him take Steve to like the mall, takes us to like to see the new aeronautical stuff or whatever in the museum. Steve's all impressed by all this stuff, blah blah blah. Fish out of water, this and that. So they go on this like tour where she like forgets her whole mission that she's on before, whatever, like which makes me mad as well. All right, so then they go back to her office where Steve, where she introduces Steve to Barbara, and when he says I'm a pilot, Barbara kind of thinks like, did she say her ex who died was a pilot or whatever? Right. That's when she starts to catch on a little bit. So then I guess Diana in her mind is like, you know what? Let me find out more about this rock. So she says, Barbara, where's the rock? I gave it to Max. You gave it to Max, why? Well, Max, he can have some people who can look into it, blah, blah. Barbara, why would you do that? Barbara says, why? Just stupid rock. Why would you even care about it? Well, why? It's that. All right. So what happens next?
So at that point, Diana realized the rock obviously brought him back. So she's like, I have to get this rock. So let me put some more emphasis on. She wasn't just like, where's the rock? She's like, oh, I got to get this rock out of the wrong hands because it just granted me a wish. So she realized also that, oh, now she's catching on that Barbara is wearing skimpy outfits. She's looking all pretty. She's like, oh, let me find this. So then when she finds out Max has the rock.
Did they go to his office, right?
Right.
Yeah. They go to his office and they go through his trash and realize he's on the plane to Cairo right now.
Right.
Cairo comes into play because Max, in the beginning, Max has this magazine from this Egyptian guy who was, I guess, the oil leader
like the
of the
richest
whole world.
Right.
So he books a plane ticket to Cairo. They realize it. So here's where the movie goes down here for me again. So they say,
I don't know if you're gonna get to this part. They are looking for the rock, but the rock, the thing that was around the rock that had like an inscription, they find all this dust on his desk, and because when he says he wants to beat a rock, it shows like the Rock turned to all this dust and like he becomes the Rock or the Rock becomes him. So they find the inscription sitting on his desk and all this dust. So they're like, wait, what? Trying because I want to paint that they got some weird idea.
Also, I want to say that because again, we realize when the Rock gives you something, it also takes something. When he becomes Rock, he starts to get sick. So every time he grants a wish, he feels it and whatnot, like physically, stuff like that. So we'll get to that later as well. So they realize he's going to Cairo. Steve, of course, is enamored. You can fly to Cairo, in that one trip or whatever, this and that. So she says, yeah, we got to go, but oh my God, you don't have a passport. Two things are dumb here. Number one, why didn't they go back to the guy's apartment where they've been at already and see what he got? He might got a passport, ID, something or whatever. This and that. That's number one. Number two. So she says, "Oh, I know." They go to the damn airspace, Air Force, I guess, and freaking in DC, and they still a jet. First of all, how the hell are they even getting on there, right? Without being noticed. It's a freaking like Army Air Force base type of deal or whatever like that. Secondly,
are the keys just sitting in the jet?
Right. And the jet's already fueled up, like it's sitting there ready to go, stuff like that. And then Steve, who hasn't flown a plane since World War I, can fly this 1980s jet, which is so many differences in 70 years of aeronautical engineering that's not possible, bro. I'm telling you right now. Whatever. You can't even fly a today's jet from the 80s if you didn't fly it since then. So that's ridiculous. All right. So, but all that bothers me. And like I said before, how to get on the base, how the hell they just get not noticed until they're already in the jet? Like, if it's that easy to steal a jet in the U.S. base, what? That's crazy. Anyway, so they go in this jet, and he says, "I can fly this jet. Nobody gonna see us or whatever like that." And she says, "Well, there's radar now." And then he says, "Oh," then she says this, "My father made the mascara blind to the world, and I've been trying that. See how I can do it. Have you been able to do it? I did it once in the last 50 years. I lost my coffee cup, but now she can do it to a whole jet. That bothers me too, bro. So,
bro. What's funny? As a kid, so when they first brought Wonder Woman out, right? I was like, it was a couple things with Wonder Woman as a kid, right? She had her lasso of truth, and she had her invisible jet, right? That was like her two things. Like, oh wow, her lasso of truth, invisible jet, right? And she was strong and all that stuff, right? So I always thought, like, will they ever bring that out? So I thought it was cool to have it because it was done. It was a thing. I used to watch the cartoon back in the day, and the way they had it, which I'm glad they didn't do that. But it used to show the people just sitting there in like in the air as if they was flying, right? So I'm glad they didn't do that. That would look terrible. That'd look weird. But it was dumb the way they did it, man. Like she should have been. Okay, when they showed her way back in the day when she was a little kid, you should have seen her, like, there should have been a scene where she was practicing making something invisible. And so you would have known, like, oh, years later, she eventually got to do it. I don't know, man. For her to only do it once to a coffee cup and then do it to a jet, like you're saying, I didn't like that. No, I don't know.
And an invisible jet from the cartoon and comics like that, it was actual Themyscira technology. Like the jet itself was invisible. Like she didn't make it invisible. It was just an invisible jet, like that. This was like, so now apparently she has this new power where she can touch stuff and make it invisible. They come out of nowhere. But the other thing is, we'll get to that later on or whatever like that, is that if all these powers she had in the 80s, why didn't she use them in like Batman vs Superman or the other Wonder Woman or like freaking
oh yeah, because this is before that.
Correct. Or Justice League or whatever like that, which is crazy. But anyway, neither here nor there. They're like driving this invisible jet. They're driving through fireworks, stuff like that. Again, a scene that was way too long and whatnot. That I didn't like. Because they're like all happy and have this great time and whatnot. These fireworks. Meanwhile, Max is at this the oil tycoon guy place or whatever like that, and the guy's like, ha ha ha, what could you possibly give me, and blah blah. Very like, I don't know, written not good at all or whatever like
that. Just an 80s villain, I guess.
Yeah, 80s villain guy, whatever like that. So Max is like, what do you really want? What do you wish? Once again, he's getting people to say, I wish. And he's holding his hand once again. And he says, I wish for my land to be like it was in the, whatever.
Right.
Golden times or whatever. So where like there was a wall to separate my people from those people, blah, blah, this and that. All of a sudden, this wall starts coming up. And Max says, you'll have your wall. In return, I'll take your oil. The guy says, I sold my oil already or whatever. So you're stupid. The guy, Max said, okay, I'll take your security and whatnot. So you won't be able to fight what's coming to you next and whatnot. So Max takes the guy's security and whatnot. So if you really think about it, Max travels to Cairo to this guy, and all he gets is a security team because the oil's already been sold.
Right.
At the end of the day, he could have got that shit anywhere. First of all, he already owned all the guys' money from the United States. Just buy a security team. Like, you know what I mean? That's just stupid or whatever. But anyway.
Yeah, he's going to travel from Cairo all the way over with the security team.
Right. So anyway, but he went there he went there for more than that, but he had all he got was that at the end of the day. Anyway, finally, Diana, as Max is leaving the place, and we see this rock coming up, and that was a decent looking scene or whatever like that. The rock coming out of the ground, they're separating the people from the water and blah blah and that. And it's like mayhem over there in Egypt, I guess. So in Cairo. So then we finally see Diana and Steve show up in the car, and they see it's Max. Now I don't even know how the hell they found them, but whatever. They see it's Max, and Max and all the security team in the car. Diana said, I got this. Yo, now this part that got me. When she changed in her outfit from the car, I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, if you the hell did you see that? Or was it just me? Or whatever. I was just like, yo, where does outfit come from? Because the outfit was like, the whole, she had to go in this regular, like, 80s little suit or whatever like that. It was like the whole outfit. It was the headband. It was the lasso. I was like, yo, was it with them? Like, I'm so confused right now. Whatever. But again, that's, to me, that's taking a step backwards in comic book movies or whatever like that. Like we got away from that whole thing of like people just magically having on the outfit out of nowhere and stuff like that. Like, I don't like how that happened. And the lasso's with them and everything else. I'm like, yo, you clearly didn't have the lasso when you went to the jet and whatnot.
You just walked there with your regular clothes on.
Right. And I don't think you
stole a jet and start flying to Cairo. You didn't have time for nothing else.
Or whatever. Anyway, this one, I missed the part. I'm so sorry. Earlier in the movie, when they break into Max's office, that's when she notices like her strength is not the same because she can't break.
Okay.
Or whatever, blah blah blah. But she breaks it, but it takes long. And Steve's like, "That's a hell of a lock." That's actually a funny line. So that's a strong lock or whatever like that. That was a funny line. Anyway, so when they're there, she's going after Max. And more she starts realizing she's not as strong as she used to be, but still is strong now. Not as strong as she used to be. So Steve, of course, has to be able to help her throughout this whole battle and whatnot. So they had to have a reason.
This is the action scene,
Right. But they had to have a reason why Steve needed to be there. So the reason to be there is because Diana needs help. She's not as strong as she used to be. If not, Steve is useless, sir, or whatever like that. So anyway, she gets shot. She starts bleeding a little bit out of the shoulder, apparently. And that's what you saw. That's what you were hyped about in the trailer. The truck flipping over, her pushing the trucks, blah, blah, this and that. And it's actually not a bad action set piece. I will say that. However, once again, this was an hour and 20 minutes into the movie from the last time we saw her, and her outfit was at the mall. So it just took too long to get to it for me.
I agree. Like you go to see Wonder Woman, but you're not seeing Wonder Woman for most of the movie.
Right. So that was that. And I don't anyway, so that was so and there was a good scene, action set piece. Max gets away. She saved some kids from getting hit by the truck. I thought Steve played a good part in that movie. I thought it was a very good action set piece. Then
well, let me get into the scenes a little bit. Like so what you see in the trailer with the truck smashing and flipping over was really cool. It was an epic moment. Now, I think what was really cool about the first Wonder Woman was that epic moment where that tower was falling. Like this movie was nowhere near as epic as the first Wonder Woman at all. But this scene we're talking about was really good with the trucks and everything. She's in the middle, pushing the trucks apart. Again, specifically the truck crashes and flips. Oh, does a jackknife, and then she jumps off, and it was really cool looking. I thought this scene was really cool. The guys all shooting at her, like it felt like a Fast and the Furious chase type thing going on. So this was a good part of the movie.
Also, when she gets to Max's car, she says, "You got to give me the Rock." He says, "I can't. I am the Rock." So that's when she realizes that he has become the Rock as well at that point and whatnot. So I want to throw that in there because that's very important.
Yeah,
and whatnot. So, they get away. Steve and Diana wound up being okay. They save some kids. Somehow she puts back on her other outfit, which I thought was in the car with Steve, by the way, but that's neither there. Whatever. And she goes to make a phone call at a payphone in Cairo, and somehow she knows Barbara's number. I don't know, whatever. So she calls Barbara over in the United States and whatnot. And I think it was that easy to make a call, by the way, from Cairo to the United States, but never not. So she calls Barbara.
You got to put the star 444 in the beginning, I guess.
So she calls Barbara about the Rock. Barbara at this point is kind of like still on Diana's side, I guess. Like she's still like, all right, okay, boom. So she says, find out as much as you can about this Rock, and we're gonna see what we can do. And this Rock is not right, blah blah, this and that. Barbara finds out that there's not like it's a rock from ancient times.
Right.
It does all this, that, and the third, and only one person, which was also not needed, whatever, has more information on this rock. So Diana says, "I'll meet you in the morning at his address." Blah blah blah. So they fly this invisible jet again from Cairo back to the States, and somehow meet Barbara at the guy's house in the morning. By the way, I don't know when they put fuel in this jet to fly from U.S. to Cairo and Cairo back, but whatever.
Listen, man, you always told me, man, it's the suspense of disbelief,
Oh my God. Anyway, so and that has its boundaries, I would say. So,
yeah, I agree.
Anyway,
guys, pretty much suspense of disbelief is when you sweep reality under the rug so you don't see it to put on something that really can't happen or shouldn't happen, or you don't explain certain things. Being a movie, sometimes they do it in a good way where, oh, you know what, we left this out, it's cool, the audience can put it together. But for this, we're just alluding to that there's a lot that they leave out that you're kind of like, wait, what? I mean,
it's like you said, sweeping reality under the rug for sake of entertainment, basically. So you're like, this can happen. It actually first started coming out when Home Alone 2 came out. So, I'm sorry, Home Alone came out, where the guy should have been dead 4 times, but everybody just liked the movie or whatever like that. So that's when they first started talking about that, because Harry and Marv should have been died. But that's another movie or whatever like that. So anyway, so they meet though, but they don't. Sorry, before they meet, the night beforehand, Barbara's leaving again the Smithsonian alone. The same guy who tried to attack her last time is still there this time. Now she's really starting to get, like, I guess, more powerful, but we're realizing as she's getting more powerful, she's losing her heart, her sense of sensitivity and stuff like that. But this guy tries to attack her, she whoops his ass.
Man, she beats him down and she's kicking him. And then the bum that she originally gave food to, he's walking by and he's looking, he's like, Barbara, and she looks and he's like, they pretty much, this was the scene where they pretty much turned her. She was good, but now this lets you know she's bad because she enjoyed beating down this guy. And when she looks at the homeless guy looks at her, she's kind of like,
my own business.
My own business.
Yeah.
So that was her turn.
I was happy she didn't attack that guy though. That would have made it worse, I feel like. But she just like, my own business and whatnot, this and that. I thought the guy she was beating down, I thought she was going to kill him. Or I thought that when she kicked him in the street, like he was gonna get hit by a car or something.
Yeah. They kept it like, they didn't.
Yeah. So anyway, they do meet at this random guy's house, and he has information on the Rock, a book from his ancient ancestors or whatever, where they find out about the Rock. The Rock grants you wishes, but it takes away a part of you. and that they got to get rid of the Rock. Barbara instantly realized, yo, if you get rid of this Rock, then I'm gonna go back to old Barbara, where I was kind of bumbling, whatever. I like what I'm feeling right now. I want to go back to that. So Barbara did before they can even finish talking about it or whatever like that. So they Max in the meantime, go back to Max. Max in the meantime, I think he has yeah, he does. So now his office is booming.
Right? Yeah. He make a wish, like he has his one secretary, and she's like, the phone's ringing like crazy. We need people or whatever. He was like, I think he got her to wish that he needs to hire more
help. Yeah, he holds her hand once again. And he said, yes, I wish I had more help. All of a sudden his office is booming.
A guy just walks in and was like, hey, I was looking for a place to work for, and I came in here by mistake. And he's like, you're hired. And then people just start randomly walking in. You're hired. You're hired. And then they just start sitting down working. Real cheesy.
Real cheesy, bro. Office is booming and stuff like that. And now he at the point where that he has people come, like, I guess, in line for him to grant wishes to and whatnot. Meanwhile, the feds are like, what's going on here? The outside of it is crazy and whatnot. It's like hysteria, like near his office and whatnot. So he's granting wishes one by one. At some point, the son comes back again. So I'm like, well, wasn't it his weekend? I'm like confused, like that's another day. I'm so confused by the son. Like,
and the son's walking around with like no parental guidance.
I'm like, did the mom just be like, deuces? Like, she don't even care what the son walks into, like a huge office or whatever like that. Like, who's the mom? The son, by the way, looks nothing like him. Is he adopted?
I'm waiting the whole movie for them to either show the mom or say he was adopted. Looks nothing like him. Like, talk about terrible casting or bad explanation. Thank you. Thank you for saying that. Like, thank you for saying that.
What the hell? So anyway, the son shows up again, just all quiet and whatever, and he don't even like, again, just this is there. He's granting wishes left and right. Meanwhile, the son comes in and he tries to get the son to make a wish. So the son, what does the son wish at first? I forget.
I think he wanted to wish like what do you want to wish? Like something about him and his father. Guys, again, this movie was just.
It was said about him and his father. And Pedro says, you're going to wish your one wish. He's going to say, now listen what he said to you. He said, you're going to wish your one wish on that. You only get one. That's very important to me. Or whatever like that. So, so the guy, and he says that twice, by the way, because I'm going to go to another time to say it. So anyway, the son wound up touching his leg and still making it. He said, I just wish you were good or something like that. Something like that he says about the dad. Anyway, Pedro realizes that it's too hard for me. I need more power. I can't just have these wishes go one by one to get what I need to get. He also realizing that he's getting, again, sicker every time he makes a wish. Weaker. Yeah, exactly. So he goes to leave. As he's leaving, the one guy, he says, don't you want to make a wish? And the guy says, you already gave me my wish. I got a Porsche. And the Pedro's like, oh yeah, you already got your wish, or whatever like that. Again, very important to me. So then Pedro decides to go to the president of the United States, who's supposed to be like a play on Ronald Reagan or whatever. Anyway, president of the United States or whatever. And he's talking about the nukes and stuff like that, and wish he had more nuclear weapons, blah, blah. He ain't say that yet, but they're talking. So then he grabs the president by his hands again. Who can do that? Right?
I didn't know how you got in there, but all right.
Right. Takes a random, I guess the president had a random meeting or whatever. Grab the president by his hands, and he says to him, what do you wish for? And the president says, I wish I had more nukes that were closer to them so I can get to them faster in Russia or whatever, blah, blah, blah. He says, cool. For that, I'll take all your power on. I'll take your Secret Service people, blah, blah, this and that, and I'll be in charge, whatever. Then the president, who scheduled this meeting with him, still has all this shit in the office for him to see that nobody would ever see if you meet the president of the United States or whatever like that. So he's like, well, what's that? Well, that's our new project to be able to broadcast to the entire world at one time, which is true. That did wind up coming out or whatever like that later on. Because now they can take over TV anytime if whatever they want to or whatever like that. But anyway, And he says, how's it work? He tells him how it works. He said, you'll be able to touch everybody at one time by this. He's like, touch? And he's like, so you can like touch them with this? He's like, well, you know, and that's his or whatever like that, I guess, which is stupid also. We'll get to that in a second.
Yes.
But anyway, so Diana finds out that he's at the White House. I don't remember how he found out.
Yeah, she does find out. Hold up, I feel like we missed a part too. When was the part where? No, I guess this is it. When she was swinging the lasso
at the White House.
Then, okay, cool. All right. That's where we're going next. All right.
Yeah. So she finds out that he's at the White House. Her and Steve walk in to the White House together, and she's in full uniform at this time again for the third time. So they so that's when she sees Max walking with the Secret Service men, and they kind of bump into each other, I guess, so to speak. And Max says, you're too late, blah, blah, blah. And she says, no. Now she starts swinging the lasso, like you're talking about, I believe.
All right, cool, yes.
And the Secret Service men are going to protect Max, so to speak. Steve winds up in the office with these like old swords, and then Diana says, no, don't use that. They didn't do anything wrong. So we realize then they changed the whole character for Diana, which makes me mad that she's like, you know, very like non-violent, more defensive than offensive and whatnot. Made her a little weaker and whatnot. So, and I don't like that. So then they fight the Secret Service men and Max. She actually gets a hold of Max at one point. Then Cheetah pops up. You can take it from there. Yeah.
So she's. I mean, it was cool seeing where she's swinging and blocking the bullets and stuff. And then Cheetah walks in and she's looking at her. And she got, you know, a cool little outfit on, little tight leggings or whatever. And she does that cool thing. She jumps and spins and knocks Diana back. And she's like, you know. Oh, not okay. This isn't the part yet, but they're looking and they do a little tussle and it's showing. So the thing is, had Diana had her regular strength, she would have chipped her, but she didn't. So they're having like their little tussle and the guards are still in there. I'm trying to think how they separated.
Max gets away. Yeah.
Max gets away and he runs to the broadcasting room. So he's going to the broadcasting room.
Wait. Well, he takes a helicopter or whatever. But yeah. Okay. Yeah. But you mean who separated? Max, Cheetah, and
no, I'm talking about Cheetah and Diana, because technically
after she beats him up, she beats up Diana and Steve, and she says that if you go after Max, you know, I'm not giving up my wish. And she basically realized then you got your wish or whatever, like that's why can't I have mine? Because Steve is there. And she says, if you go after Max, then I will hurt you or kill you or whatever. I'll understand that. At this moment, she hops on the helicopter with Max and whatnot. So you got room for somebody else, whatever, like that. Yeah. They get on the plane. So meanwhile, and mind you, her first wish, by the way, came from The Rock before she met Max, right? And Max don't even ask, like, well, how the hell you get this strong? Why do you look like this? Whatever like that. Because he didn't grant the wish. So I don't understand why he don't realize, like, how the hell this happened? But whatever. So Steve and Diana realize only way you're gonna be able to defeat them is if you get your strength back. Only way you're gonna be able to do that is Steve says that, and they both say that only way to things go back, everybody has to renounce their wish. Or whatever. Once you renounce your wish, things go back to normal. But everyone has to renounce their wish. So they have this touching scene in the corner or whatever, where Steve says, you know, that she renounces her wish and walks away. So you don't see Steve and this guy turn back to whatever. So that's weird, whatever. But anyway, so now Diana runs and she's crying. She's upset. She lost Steve again for the second time. And she lassos a plane and whatnot, which was, I don't know how many thousands feet in the air, but she lassos the plane. And the plane pulls her up.
Well, let's build it up a little bit more. Because I thought this scene was cool. So when she renounced her wish, so she gets stronger. I think we're leaving out something too. We got to talk about the armor.
We get to the armor yet.
Okay. The armor happened without Steve? I thought.
Okay. So back at her apartment, the armor is there, I think, because she already had.
There's a big box, and Steve's walking around her house, and he's like, "What's this?" And she's like, "Oh, this is from ancient armor from my my people, and you know, only one person ever wore it, and she gives this whole big speech. Building up this armor is really, it's a big deal.
Actually, we already talked about that too, because in the very first scene, they also talk about the armor, where I guess shows her that about the armor
statue.
As well. Yeah, statue of Asteria. Yeah,
the person who wore the armor, right?
Yeah, Asteria, that's her name. And okay, you're right. At this point, the lasso has a new power we never seen before. So it can not only make you tell the truth, but it can show you like the past or whatever like that. So she wraps it around Steve's arm and shows him where the lady with the armor was protecting their village or whatever by having the armor on.
Yeah, and she's using the armor to block and fight against a whole army. So they're all trying to stab and get to her, and she's using it. She ended up, I guess she died protecting everybody else. She used the armor.
She died. They looked for her, but they didn't know where she was at and whatnot. So Diana says, I couldn't find her, but I found her armor. Or stuff like that is what happened. So, all right. Like I said, she lassos the airplane.
Right. Wait, because I want to doll this up. So you just put that in there so you guys know the armor is a thing, right? So we go back to when she renounced her wish with Steve. So now she's upset because I didn't want to just make like, oh, she used the lasso. No, she's upset and she's running. And you like, because I feel like this was really cool. And she's running. She just jumped and lassos the jet or the plane or whatever. And then because this is where you're talking about, right? Where she lassos the lightning. Yeah. And so
before that, so she's just flying and whatnot. So apparently they're saying that since Steve told her, like, she flies a plane, right? The flying is just all about. Go ahead.
Steve has this speech when they're in the plane earlier, and he's like, flying is like the most amazing thing to him. And he's like, it's pretty much like you let yourself go and you're as light as whatever.
And then the wind will take you, something like that.
Right, and the wind would take you. So she's mad, and she lassos the plane, and it yanks her in the air, and it kind of propels her in the air, right? But she needs something else. So she's like, whoa, and then all of a sudden, she's getting like really light, and she's realizing like, oh, wait, I can actually, I don't want to say fly just yet, but I could keep myself in the air. I could glide pretty much, right?
Right.
And then she finds something else to lasso to.
Well, that's when it comes to the lightning, the next thing you said.
Okay, so was the lightning the very next thing?
Was it a cloud? I don't know.
Maybe. So she pulls on the, which was looked cool. Even in the trailers, I'm like, what? Did she just lasso the lightning? So it looked cool as hell, right? She lassos the lightning, and she got all this emotions in her because I want to build it up. She got all these emotions in her. She lassos the lightning, yanks herself, and then she does the whole Superman type thing, and she's flying through at this point, I feel like she's flying. I feel like she propelled herself and then glid, and she's using the momentum of yanking herself, and she's pretty much flying through the air. And all
right, so she goes back to her apartment and gets the armor you're talking about,
right,
and whatnot. So the armor has wings, so now she can actually fly with the armor's wings, I guess, at this point, and whatnot. And meanwhile, we see that Max has gotten to the, what was it, like a studio?
The broadcasting studio.
Yeah. So
for the whole world.
Oh, we missed the part. Okay, so meanwhile, they're on the helicopter, Max and Barbara still at this point, and then Barbara's like, Max says, you know what, for helping me out, I'll do you a favor. I will grant you, I'm feeling generous. I'll grant you another wish or whatever like that. I thought everybody got one. Like, I thought you at this point. But anyway, right. He just told his son, you only get one, son. Make it count. Right. But now he feels generous. Why do you feel generous to Allison? I don't understand. So anyway, she says, I wish I was an apex predator.
Right. I want to be more. I want to be,
I'm like, Randy Orton? Like, like that.
That's how I'm thinking.
Like, I wish I was an apex predator, which I didn't know that meant cheetah, by the way. But anyway, so I thought it was a snake, a viper. I don't know what the hell it is.
Well, I think that, so the cool thing is the apex predator is just pretty much the top of the food chain is what it's supposed to be. So apex predator is if you had a bunch of different animals, that animal that would be able to be on the top of the food chain. It's just the apex predator was always, the top of the top. the best of the best. Which one will survive? You know, is the apex predator. So
is the cheetah stronger than the lion or the tiger?
No, I don't think so.
That's what I'm saying. But anyway, that's either there or there. So she, at that point, I don't know why she wanted to wish. I don't know anyway. So when they get there, Max, we see, has taken over the whole broadcast.
But to be fair, she don't specifically. So guys, I don't want you to think she don't specifically say she want to be a cheetah. She just say she want to be an apex predator. And correct. I guess the wish figured, oh, you know what? The cheetah is really fast, it's cunning, it's strong, it's so it. There you go.
Whatever. Anyway, so Max is broadcasting. He's somehow able to. This is so weird to me. But he's somehow able to hear the people's wishes.
Yeah. So everyone's watching him on TV, and he's telling them, "What is your wish? Tell me your wish." And people who are watching TV wish, and he can hear the wish. So I guess he's grant their wish, but then he's take things from them.
Right. All you hear is granted, the whole time, whatever, like that.
Right.
And some are not actually wishing to him. They wishing like the guy at the diner was like, "I wish you dropped dead." He wasn't doing it to Max. He wasn't watching TV, but he just said it out loud, and the lady dropped dead. Stuff like that. Right. Which is weird too.
Yeah, because the one person was like, "Oh, I wish you go back to where you came from," and like all of a sudden the police start coming up and arresting people from his like nationality.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
He's like hiding because he don't want to get arrested, and he wished the person was dead, and they fall dead. Yeah.
They fall dead. All right. So Diana gets there full armored up, and and it was good for the scene, I guess, for the look of it. She sees Cheetah. We see how Cheetah looks or whatever. What do you thought about that? How Cheetah looks? Or not?
So why? I guess my issue was they changed her face so much. So it didn't look like Barbara at all. Obviously, they changed the nose to make it be a little cat-like, but I feel like they did a bad job at it because it just looked like she had a regular human nose, but it was just a totally different nose, so it didn't look like her. Her cheekbones changed. I was really looking at the face, and I was like, man, they totally changed her face. Like, if you put her and Barbara next to each other, I almost didn't know it was the same person. I think the scene was cool when Diana just like flowed down. She looked like a golden angel or something. That was cool. I loved even from the trailers where she's like, "What did you do?" Like, Barbara, what did you do? I like that. I mean, Cheetah is a character in, the comic book. So, I mean, they chose to use that character. I just feel like Wonder Woman should have beat the hell out of her. But, they had a good little tussle. I guess, I don't know. I got mixed feelings, man. I feel like she looked okay, but she did I like when she first came on, they panned back and you see her standing there looking down, so she looked really cool, but it was like, you're just a cheetah person. I don't know. I don't know. What is this cat?
I felt like the fight. I hate that the fight was so defensive once again for Diana, for Wonder Woman. And I felt like, okay, they got the armor, but first of all, this armor that 90,000 dudes apparently couldn't break through when Asteria had it. Cheetah clawed it open or whatever like that. So I'm just
she was blocking with the armor. Cheetahs, because at first when the first piece fell off, I was like, they dolled this armor up like this is the armor. They showed the warrior girl, these guys stabbing with swords and knives, and she's blocking them all. So when Cheetah was scratching her up, and all of a sudden you see the piece break, I'm like, did she really break the armor? And she's just shattering the armor. I'm like, what?
Right. Same thing. Like, what was the point of this armor then? And I mean,
her claws stronger than those guys' swords and stuff.
All right, I don't understand. So anyway, they have this fight. She uses her lasso, of course, but she used the whole movie.
Well, what did you think of the fight?
I didn't like the fight as an end ball. They call it the boss fight, right? We get to the end of the movie and stuff like that.
Climactic clash, pretty much.
Right. I thought it was not a good fight. And like I said, she was too defensive. I thought, like you said, she probably could have chipped Cheetah a long time ago. I thought that if the armor wasn't going to play a huge role, then why even have it? Beyond not visually.
Yeah, because she real quickly pretty much tore her armor up. And she had to drop the armor anyway.
Very, very quickly. I thought the ending part where it ends with her lassoing something, Cheetah jumping after her.
Yeah, she lassoed the electric tower.
Yeah. The tower starts falling apart. They fall in this water. or whatever. And then as the water's falling, Diana holds her there so she can get electrocuted. But Diana, I guess, doesn't because she's a demigod, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
I'm confused about that part too, or whatever. So she is not dead though. She's just out of it, I guess, at this point, getting electrocuted.
Well, let's back up a little bit. I thought was what I didn't like. So the fight was okay for me, where they was just fighting and she's jumping, but then it got into the whole Cirque du Soleil type swinging, or she's swinging on the electric thing, and then she's swinging on her lasso, and they swing around each other. I'm like, what the hell is this, a circus? Like, it was a bit like.
And I don't think Diana actually ever like actually punched her. I don't think they actually had like Diana show that she can fight, and that I didn't like at all. You know what I'm saying? So I think that Wonder Woman is so powerful. I don't like they don't let her use her power and whatnot.
Right.
I don't know if that's like a Patty Jenkins, the director role, or whatever like that. But in this movie, I felt like I don't know, because she is a woman, they want to punch her in the face. I guess I don't know what the hell it was or whatever.
Right. Yeah, I don't know, but
it was weird. So, but again, I didn't like the ending of it at all either. How she kind of finished her. So then she goes inside. Keep moving on forward. She sees Max like granting these wishes and things are going crazy. She can't get to him because of the wind surrounding him.
It's like all this wind. I don't know where it came from. I guess it's the power of the wish granting.
I don't know. She can't lasso in either. This and that, which is crazy. Then she decides to lasso the cameras so they can't show him no more. But somehow he goes to some other place. And he still can hear and they can see the wishes through some light or some shit. I don't know what you can tell me. I don't know what was happening there.
I don't know. I guess it was just supposed to be his wishing was so powerful that it made like its own realm of vision that people could see. Yeah.
It's weird. So anyway, she still can't get in, and she's like, "You got to stop." She's on the speech, whatever, like that. And then she starts talking, and he's like, "Why would I ever do that?" And she's like, "I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the people." Right. Turns out now she somehow got the lasso around his leg.
Right.
I don't know when. We don't see it happen and whatnot, but it gets there. So she's showing Max because we were told before, right, with the whole Steve scene, that the lasso can show you stuff now. So she's showing Max that his son is in the street. He needs help. Nobody's there to help him. He's calling for his dad randomly out of nowhere because he ain't see his dad in I don't know how long, but he's calling for his dad. He can't, nobody's there to help him. Everybody else he's talking to out loud about like giving up your wish. This is not the right thing to do. You can't cheat. You got to tell the truth. Blah, 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 this and that. And through Max, like the people hear her and they all start to one by one.
Right. She's like, renounce your wish. Right.
So then Max renounces his wish to be the stone and whatnot, and he leaves. Somehow the Secret Service people still work for him. I don't know how. And then they take him.
And then another thing, his son, I guess he ran across town and got there so fast. This little kid. You'd have been tired as hell. Like, how did kid eat? And the kid, so here's my thing. The kid wasn't walking down the street. The kid come through the bushes. Like, he knew some secret. Well, this kid is like 7 years old. Like, how did you know to get from there to there? Like, and you taking paths, like, through the bushes and the trees and like, not on the main road. Yeah, that was.
Yeah, and then Diana, we see, not Diana, we see Barbara becomes back to Barbara, no longer Cheetah or stuff like that, I would say. But we never heard her renounce her wish or whatever like that. So, and then Max gets back with his son. They have a nice little touching, heartfelt speech, which wasn't too bad or whatever. He tells them, like, they show a flashback of Max and his whole life and how he always wanted to be better and stuff like that. And that he just wanted to show his kid how great he was.
Because they show him when he's a kid, when he's a teenager. Yeah, so they did that whole thing, which is cool.
Which is cool. That part was cool. Then the kid says, "You're my dad. I'm always love you no matter what." Blah blah this and that. So that was a touching little scene, I thought. And then it shows I guess Diana at the end just flying, right? That was the part at the end there.
Yeah. She just jumps up and like she's fully flying there.
Right, it's fully flying. Yeah. So, and that's it. And then the end credit scene is they show. Oh no, I missed a part. I did miss a part. So before that, we see Diana, the guy who she raped or whatever earlier in the movie.
Yes, yes, we was waiting for this. Yes, can I jump in here, please?
Go ahead.
So they show Diana standing there, and she's standing. Just I guess she's waiting for a cab, or she's standing outside. I don't know where the hell she's going. And this guy walk out, she turn her head and look, and it's the guy that Steve took over her body. And he's wearing the outfit that she told Steve she liked the most, but Steve didn't want to wear it. So he's like, yeah, my friend. She was like, oh, I like your outfit. And he's like, yeah, my friends don't like it, but you know, it's my thing. She's like, no, it looks good on you. He's like, oh, thanks. Now, mind you, this is so creepy to me. She's looking at this guy and he has no clue that she slept with him. I'm like, bro, this is so weird. And she's looking at him like, damn. To me, she's like, okay. Like, I don't know. For me, my head is like, yo, this is like.
She's flirting with him, full on flirting with him and stuff like that.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
But she already had him.
Right.
He just don't know it.
Again, imagine if that was a woman in the same situation.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God. So, and then
now I almost feel like he didn't have no interest in her though. So he talked a little bit and then he walked off first. He was like, okay, well, see you around, and just walks off and go get his cab.
Yeah, it felt like that too. Yeah, definitely, or whatever. But I don't know, because she also said, I'll never find love again after Steve. So I don't know what was up with that.
Right.
I want to either at the same time.
But he tells her to go on to find love, though.
He does. But by the time, once again, don't forget though, we already seen her for her future. She never does find love again. By the time we get to Batman vs Superman and all the other stuff, she's still not with nobody and whatnot.
Right.
So you gotta remember, we already see her future when watching this movie and stuff like that, which is crazy and whatnot. So anyway, she flies, like you said. End scene, some ladies walking by and a pole is falling and she stops it. You almost think it's Diana at first, but you don't, or whatever. So then she turns around. This is also cheesy as hell too. So she says, what's your name? My name is Asteria, which was the same lady whose armor that Diana was looking for, played by Linda Carter, the original Diana Prince from the old TV show.
Bro, I didn't know she was still alive.
Right, me either.
She looked pretty good too. I was like, oh, well, how? Like, bro, I was a little kid watching this. Like, how old is she now?
Right.
Yeah, I was like, that was cool for me. For me, that was a throwback for me. I was like, yo, I was telling my wife, it was like, that was the original Wonder Woman. I was kind of, I don't know if they're gonna do anything with it, but it was cool. And
then she says, looks at the camera and says, well, I've been doing this for a very long time, which is a nod to the fact that she's the original Diana Prince or whatever, you know, back in the day. And that's it.
That's it.
So.
All right, bro, here we go, man. I've been waiting. Listen, I don't know if it's just me. Where the hell in the trailers did they show some Wish guy?
They don't.
So here's what messed me up. I'm watching this movie, and you know, you go to the movie, so you ask a lot to not. So maybe this is what I get. When Batman v Superman came out, right? I liked the movie, but I felt they showed too much. I always said they either should have you had no clue Wonder Woman was in the movie, and you watching the movie, it's like, whoa, Wonder Woman was in it, or more importantly, because you thought Batman and Superman was the villain to each other. Or they should have never, ever, ever showed Doomsday. And you would have went into it like, yo, Doomsday was in the movie and I had no clue. Okay, so maybe this is what I get, because what they did was never in the trailer did they show some guy got a wish powers and all this. I was so took into the side like, what? Like, I know Cheetah, like we said, like, oh, you know, the main villain is going to be Pedro Pascal. So obviously Cheetah wasn't, but I had no clue what was ever his anything. Like, I just see him I was just like, and it was the dumbest villain. Like, it was just done wrong. But the fact that I had no clue from the trailers, I was so taken back. Like, oh, I felt like, what movie am I seeing? Like this, I had no clue this was anything to do with this movie.
Yeah, and the bad part about him is that he's just a guy, right? So Diana couldn't even fight him at the end. He had to give a speech or whatever. So the climax is just like her wrapping her arm around him and giving a speech or whatever like that. Because they can't let her fight him because of he's just a guy. Right. So I felt like
just the lasso of truth was around his leg.
Yeah. So I felt like that wasn't done well at all. The wishing was so wishy-washy, right?
Right. It was like either this is how it goes or this is how it goes. Like, which is it? Because the problem is, so if you got a villain and it's the only one way to beat a villain, it makes sense to do this to beat the villain. So you build up on like, okay, what can the villain do? You could only grant one wish, but now you're giving people second wishes. You like
so sometimes you gotta touch you, sometimes they don't gotta touch you. Sometimes it's like not now you can broadcast and they can all do it. What?
But then and even
about?
his personality, right? So you just want it to be wealthy, but now you want to take everyone in the world's wish. Like you already like I don't
know his motivation at that point correctly.
Right.
And again, you could have literally made one wish and be like, I want to walk this person ever. That's it. And the movie's over. You know what I mean? So it's like weird to me. And I felt like I said, you go to Cairo, but when you do your homework and realize the guy already sold his oil, why would you go there and then you walk away?
Mind you, he's in the oil profession. He's lying to people when he know there is no oil somewhere else. So how did you not know that dude sold all his oil? Like that's what you do. Like you didn't know that?
Weird to me, bro.
Like, bro, you didn't know that?
Right. You didn't know that. It's just so much. And I want to say, I didn't like the character. I thought Pedro Pascal was good at acting because it's so much a difference from what he naturally is. But I didn't like what they wrote for him. I thought it was horrible and whatnot. Like it's so different to him as Mandalorian, right? It's so like opposite. It's crazy and whatnot. He's so over the top. I guess it was supposed to be like a play on Donald Trump a little bit, or a play on like 80s people a little bit. And it's weird because I did think it was a good play on like 80s personalities, because I was watching when I had to do the Brews with the Crew, shouts out to my boy Chris or whatever, and we watched American Ninja. American Ninja from the 80s. American Ninja. The villain in that movie, I swear to God, if you watch that, it's kind of like Pedro Pascal's Maxwell Lord. And whatnot. So they definitely did a good job of that being like an 80s type of villain and stuff like that. However, I just think that his motivation was weird. Again, his son was like, what? Who is this kid? Your adopted kid? He's like your nephew? They call your son?
Dude, that's bad casting. That's bad casting. That was horrible. That bothered me the most. Every time you seen the kid, it was like, okay, they're going to show his mom with dark black hair or something at some point, because Pedro Pascal, he got like, you know, lighter blonde or a dirty blonde hair, brown. I was just like
Asian, bro.
yeah.
I'm like, bro, what?
Just like, yeah.
I thought we had like an Asian mom out of nowhere. And again,
I was waiting. I'm waiting, and they never showed that. And I was like, oh, we're supposed to believe that was really his son? Or you just forgot to say you adopted him?
And the way he talks, like, oh, it's my weekend. Oh, like, you know, it seemed like he's like, you know, got like a thing with his mother but don't like it. I thought they would have showed the mother. Maybe she would have been like, you know what, I knew it would never be nothing. You always been a liar or a fraud. They should have added
something.
You know, a little bit or whatever. And why she just like dropping the kid off in this big office and saying like, all right, see you later. Like, I don't understand. I don't care who helps you out, bye, or whatever. It's so weird to me. The whole thing with the Cheetah's motivation was weird to me too. I was like, bro, we gotta get away from her just trying to like look good and you know, be better or whatever like that. I told you I didn't like the way she looked at the end. I didn't like the way she looked at the end. And to me, I thought it's why they made the scene dark, because they knew it wasn't great CGI and she didn't look that great. So they made it a darker scene, which a lot of movies do sometimes. I felt like, and of course, the whole scene coming back that we talked about before, that was just dumb and weird and not necessary. You have a rock that can freaking bring missiles out of nowhere, make missiles disappear, and walls come up. Just say, oh my gosh, Steve came back. That's all you got to do.
Right. That's all they had to. Yeah, I mean, probably my two biggest flaws in the movie, or the two biggest things I didn't like. The funny thing is, the kid is on the list. I'm sorry. I can't excuse the kid not looking nothing like him and them not explaining it. All right. That's one. But two, the Steve thing. Bro, maybe you shouldn't even did. That bothers me, man. This was like not cool. Like so she's the goody two-shoe. If you just made her like, oh wow, Steve, you're back, but never took it there. But bro, they went back to his house and everything. Like we ain't like, come on.
Yeah. And again, why go back to his house? That was weird to me too. It was so much about that. I was like, it's crazy or whatever. Like, I mean, Diana got a job. Why she gets buying some clothes? I understand. I mean, it's a lot with the whole situation. And then for Diana, now if you remember the last movie, she had the lasso, but she also had the shield and the sword. This movie that took away that. And I guess because Patty's trying to be less violent or whatever, I don't like that. I like her in Batman vs Superman and Justice League with her shield and sword and whatnot. I just a part of Diana. Like I like that, you know, it shows her Amazonian history that she can use the shield and sword and stuff like that.
And I guess she really didn't have no villains to fight besides the very end. I mean, yeah, she was blocking bullets and stuff, but I feel like, I don't know, man.
But even if you look at the first movie, before they even got to Ares, she was still walking around with her. Remember when they had they were trying like, how we gonna hide this? When she came out of the with the older lady trying to
I agree.
She always had it with her. Now she's like, you know what? I can leave it at the crib. I don't need this right now. I'm like, I don't understand with it that part or whatever. So that bothers me. Like I said, the little small things like a jet can get to Cairo in one shot without fueling up again and back and stuff like that. Of course, I told you that bothers me. Steve being able to fly the jet bothers me. There's so many little things I think that are not explained. And then, like I said, Diana having her whole outfit with her out of nowhere, that bothers me. And then back to the outfit.
The outfit out of nowhere kind of bothers me. The gas in the plane, I could let that slide. Steve flying, I think it was a cool moment. You know, it was like his moment. That was his moment. And for him to tell how he felt about flying. So I'm fine with that. I guess them, you know, how they stole the jet and stuff and broke in there. I guess I'll let that part slide just because it gave Steve his moment. Had the cool looking, them flying and fireworks in the background. You know, that I'll let slide. But some stuff I can't let. For me, some stuff I can't let slide. Some stuff I can.
Again, I said this earlier. I feel like it was taking a step backwards. Superhero films. A lot of gripes about earlier superhero films were they were cheesy, right? Didn't explain a lot. They just threw things out of nowhere. This stuff was taking a step backwards, where we did the same thing. Like if you look at the other movies, like the Marvel movies, they're so much more grounded to try to explain how things happen and why they happen and stuff like that. This one was just like whatever.
But in fairness, maybe we just look at it as this was a 1984 superhero movie. Because it might as well have came out in 84, right?
It was like Superman 2, kind of a little bit.
Yeah, for real. I wonder was they shooting for that? Like, did they want the whole thing to feel like a cheesy 84 superhero movie?
I don't know, because I feel like I said, even with Captain Marvel set in the 90s or whatever like that, it's set then, but you can still not have it so cheesy and whatnot. Where this one just felt so cheesy in the mall scene. And again, one more thing. All right, so and Batman v Superman, when Bruce kind of discovers who she is and whatnot, and apparently she's been like in the shadows, and nobody can know who she is or whatever like that.
You got pictures of her and stuff.
And it's like, though, nobody remember this whole event that happened in 1984 where she like broadcasted to the world. Stuff like that. And like the world almost ended and there were nukes going on.
Here's my question, right? Why did they even need, okay, we want to make a Wonder Woman movie, right? Why did they even need to do 84? You know what I'm saying? Like, because that messes up so much stuff. That make you say, wait, we seen Batman, Superman, we seen this, we seen that, and wait, what?
Yeah. Like, well, why was she flying in? They could have used that flight in Batman vs Superman or Justice League or watching Images Invisible in. It's like, it's so much. It's like, what? You know what I'm saying? It's like, yo, Patty Jenkins. So here's what the background is. Like, so, you know, Zack Snyder, we all know, remember, her first movie was Batman v Superman. So it was really his character at first, right? Then when she got her own movie, which was Wonder Woman, Patty Jenkins took over it. And they said Warner Brothers made her keep the same tone as she had in Batman v Superman and whatnot. Same sword and stuff like that and whatever like that, blah, blah, blah. And she didn't like that. So then we saw her again in Justice League, still kind of like Zack Snyder's, you know, version. And then now Patty was like, look, I want to do my own movie, my own Wonder Woman, my own trip on or whatever like that. So they was like, all right, do what you want. Problem is, we're already sold in the future. It don't make sense.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that I get where she's coming from. However, you got to keep the same one we already saw.
Right.
It doesn't make any, you know what I mean? It doesn't make any sense in
I agree.
that way. So I feel like that, and now that she signed on to do like a Star Wars movie, the fans are not happy about that. You know, like this movie is so divisive right now.
Maybe you could just explain it that Wonder Woman in 84 was more soft and then she got more tough when they got the Batman Superman, you know. She's gonna have to chalk it up to that,
Yeah, but except for in her first movie, she was tough. Right? And that was in 1917, 1920.
Well, that was a rougher time, bro. The war, man.
I'm just saying, bro. It's just weird. They changed her character. And I think not only for me or you or men, but I think females, they kind of like to have that stronger Diana to follow behind and stuff like that. Well, this one was so much more defensive. Her a lot of her motivation was about being in love with this guy, Steve, or whatever, blah, blah. And again, bro, I'm hearing they might bring him back again, bro. Don't bring Steve back again. I'm sorry. Like, it's over for Steve, for me.
Well, I mean, yeah, to be honest with you, it makes sense. Like, Steve should be done,
Yeah.
He should be done. I mean, I feel like he had a swan song, kind of like, I feel like him saying, renounce your wish and everything. I feel like, what more would we want to see of Steve? I mean, he's a cool character for her, but it just makes no sense. And we almost need superheroes to be away from that love interest, because that give them their softer tone, and it kind of messes them up a little bit, We need them to be strong and tough, and not, the thing that is like their Achilles heels is the person they're in love with, so to speak.
Yeah, I almost want to see, like, would have been dope if the person who made The Rock, right? They were saying this person from back in the God's era, or whatever like that, the God of Mischief or whatever it was, who made The Rock, if he came out of nowhere and like laughing about everything that was going on, she had to fight him, and she could have like a big boss fight. Yeah, I think that would have been dope.
Or when he did at the very end with the wishes, and maybe as he was getting like, it looked like he was getting weaker, maybe he was being transformed. So at the very end, he could have turned into like the Rock, like a rock type creature or a rock god or something, and been super powerful. And they had this big epic fight.
Yeah, because what makes Superman, like, and I get that too, like, so, and Man of Steel, he had to fight Zod, somebody his equal, right? And then Doomsday, but you can't have his villain be like a regular ass dude and shit like that. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, he always go against Lex Luthor, but Lex Luthor always puts so much extra. That, and again, that's why when you get the height of those movies, is because he's going against a Zod, a Doomsday, or even Meteor Man, or not whatever the other Superman was back in the day, where the Red Sun and all that.
Yeah, and also Superman at least had the kryptonite, right? So the thing about Lex was Lex always like, I gotta find some kryptonite, or whatever like that and whatnot. So I think Diana needs either something like that, because if not for this wish stone, then she'll have a weakness or whatever and whatnot. So I feel like that, or give her a more powerful villain and stuff like that.
That's it. Yeah.
I feel like that. But yeah, I'm gonna say, bro, and I don't know if I might have liked it more at the movies, only because I would have seen more of a spectacle, especially that first opening scene. But at home, bro, it felt like I was watching any other movie. It felt like a blockbuster.
So here's the thing. I was at work and this person seen it. They was like, "Oh, we liked it." I was like, "Where'd you seen it at?" They was like, "We seen it on HBO Max." Said, okay. And I went to the movies. No, bro. You would have liked it less. Okay. The fact that I got up and went to the movie theater and watched it on the big screen, and it was underwhelming. Like, they had moments where the sound was really good, but the movie was just bad. Like you said, a lot was dragged out.
Way too long, yeah.
When you get up and go to the movies, and this is, again, you said this was the first blockbuster in a while, right? So this is supposed to be that. So you're supposed to be like, okay, I'm watching this on the big screen and I get that blockbuster feeling. You didn't get it. I think I would have liked it better if I watched it home on HBO Max. I'd have been like, okay, I mean, it was all right, but it would have helped me not be as disappointed. So I don't think you would have liked it more.
Okay, all right. Well, I'm happy to know that. But yeah, I felt like that. I was very disappointed in what they put out there to be a blockbuster. I could imagine if it came out in the summertime. I'm like, yo, this would have been a horrible blockbuster.
Man, yeah, the backlash.
So Josh asked the question. I answered it on Mental Theaters. What's your answer now? He said, do you think this movie would have made $1 billion if it was regular times in the theaters?
No, it would have made a lot of money in the first week, but then the people talking about it would have stopped people from going to see it.
I agree.
Yeah, it's a word of mouth is powerful, and I don't know. I mean, I'm there. Like I said, this guy at my job was like, "Oh man, it was pretty good." I'm thinking, like, probably I would love to hear what you would have said if you went to the movies, but yeah, no, it wouldn't have made $1 billion. I don't think so.
Yeah, and also it's superhero movies. They count on multiple viewership. So like I saw Endgame 3 times in the theaters, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
or whatever
me
it is,
too.
stuff like that.
Yep.
So it's like I would never want to saw this again. I'm sorry.
No. Some people are on the fence. Oh, do you think I should see it in the movies or not? Wait till it come out. Wait till it come out. That's why I would have, So
right. I would never saw this again.
Now I feel like this.
I might not watch it again. I might watch it again now, like in my life.
Yeah, I'm not gonna watch it again now, but I feel like not seeing it. Yeah, you probably should. It's a Wonder Woman movie, and right now, what's going on in the world? If you can see it, right? I'm not gonna tell you not to see it. Like even when I did my review at the end, I said, yeah, see it. I said if you have HBO, but I said if you got HBO Max, don't go see it in the movies, right? If you don't have HBO Max, then I mean it's Wonder Woman. It's good enough to see in the movies, but I wouldn't see it again. I wouldn't be telling people like I'm on the fence. Like I have people who ask me sometimes, like, bro, I want to see this or see that. What you think? I'm thinking about seeing it. I would clearly be like, you could skip it. You don't have to see it in the movies, But if you're like, you want to see it, what do you think? It's Wonder Woman. It did what it needed to do. It just was very poor at what you wanted it to be.
So let's talk about what I said on Mental Theater, what you said I spoiled about the fact that they had no connection to the rest of the DCU. Do you think it should have? That's what I thought.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Because people always give Marvel movies credit for something they didn't do yet. Man, that movie is amazing because it's setting up the next movie. Like, you can't do that. Like, rate a movie on the movie, not because it's part of a bigger puzzle, but people do that, right? So if it was part of a bigger puzzle, you would have liked it even more. If it had a couple scenes, one scene, you were like, man, the one movie wasn't that good, but man, it really did set up the next movie, and I would have gave it a little plus. You might even said, oh, you kind of have to go see it in the movies. Like that person on the fence, should I see it? Should I see it? I mean, that was all right, but there's something you got to see. So you got to go see it. There's nothing for you to be like, yeah, man, you need to go see this in the movies, unless you just want to see a superhero movie, then yes, it did. It was a superhero movie. It had the big bangs. It had fighting, kind of, sort of. So.
Yeah, this one didn't have any connection whatsoever. It was it's on its own. I guess her 1984 story, I guess, that we talked about or whatnot. So I think they tried to use that, to your point, to make people want to go. Like, 1984. I think it worked. Yep. It worked against them.
Yes.
I feel like
it was poorly done,
Yeah, it was
poorly done. And then this 84 scenes, they dragged out too much. They was trying too hard. It wasn't subtle. It was like, oh, look at this from 84. Oh, yeah, it's a futon. What's a futon? No, a futon. Is it like...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that was crazy too. So anyway, so ready to rate or what?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's you want to do a 1 to 10, right?
Yeah, we'll go 1 to 10. I'll go first. I'm gonna go on, and I use halves. So your boy Mr. Urbanwell went with a 4 and whatnot last night on your show.
Okay.
And whatnot. I want to go with 4.5.
I want to. I'm gonna give it a solid 5. No, I don't know. I feel like it was a superhero movie, but it was a bad superhero movie. So, but it's such a Wonder Woman's so popular that I feel like you kind of still got to see it because it's Wonder Woman, but you might not like it as much, but it's Wonder Woman. So I got to give her a little bit of that. It was Wonder Woman. I mean, they had moments that was Wonder Woman-ish. The armor was kind of cool, even though it was poorly used. The lightning, swinging on lightning was pretty awesome. But poorly used. I'm gonna stay with a 5. I'll give it a 5.
Okay, all right. I'm going 4.5. On mine. So I like to ask this only because women tend to, like women superhero movies. How does Sandy like it? I don't know.
She didn't like it.
She didn't like it either.
And think about it. She got dressed, as you can see in the video. She got Wonder Woman socks, Wonder Woman pants. Well, she spent about 30 minutes cutting her Wonder Woman shirt up to make it have like the fringes at the end and all that.
Wow.
I mean, she was like Wonder Woman. She loved the first Wonder Woman. So she was going to movies like, we going to see Wonder Woman. She left like,
wow.
And she was even dozing off on the movie.
Are you serious?
Yeah. I was like, yo. She's like, dead serious.
Crazy. After doing all that.
Yeah. After doing all that, she was like, no, this wasn't it.
saying that. Yeah. So I mean, it's been the common response. I didn't want to say nothing until we did our review, but common response is that people don't really like it at all. They felt like they did it her disservice and whatnot. Even though WB already announced they're going to still do a Wonder Woman 3, so hopefully, but that'll be set. They already said it'll be set in today's time. Hopefully, just setting it in today's time will make it give it a little bit better.
Here's the thing, right? We liked part 1.
Yeah.
We didn't like this one, but we know why we didn't like. She's still a great character. She like they could put like so. This isn't like when X-Men 3 was so bad and Spider-Man 3 was so bad. We was like, I'm done, right?
Yeah.
This is like for me. This is like, you know what? I give Wonder Woman no shit. Listen, you could clearly make another Wonder Woman movie and redo what was did here. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't like it was bad, but her character still shined. Like she still was Wonder Woman. We just would have rather.
I still like Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman.
Yeah, thank you. That's what I was about to get to. She's still a great Wonder Woman. I still want to see her. Like this wasn't where I was like, yo, I'm done, man. Like no, I want more. Like I still, you could pull it off. You did it before. You know, you could pull it. You still got lightning in a bottle. You just need to, you know what I'm saying? Like. She could do a good one, a movie. They get the right writing, we'll eat it up. It's good. We've seen enough of good Wonder Woman, right? So we've seen a bunch of movies where her in it. We're like, bro, she was great. I liked it. Like the whole one-off movie. Liked her in featured in movies. You know, it was good enough.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like look. Sometimes you mess up, you make a mistake. Unfortunately. If you were to go back in the day, like when we were younger, there's a lot of mistakes, but it wasn't like the internet to kill you on it. It wasn't like people. I mean, you had like the Cisco and Ebert or whatever like that, but now there's 45 reviews every day on Wonder Woman on YouTube by people like me and you. So it's a lot bigger, different. You get killed so much more, but people mess up. You can always you know had a better time period. So you know, hopefully they can. I mean, hell, Rocky 5 sucked, but you know, people mess up. I feel like that, whatever like that. So you know, I'm sure they can do well again. But I will say that this one did not hit the ball at the park, and I was so disappointed or whatever like that.
Me too.
And I don't think this would have been the movie, by the way. You talked about it before, to bring people back to theaters. If it was like regular stuff, this wouldn't have been it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's sad because I kept saying for me the biggest movie that's on the that's coming at some point is Black Widow, but for me this would have been the second biggest movie. Out of all the movies we know that's coming, for me, it's gonna be Black Widow then Wonder Woman, but nah, man.
All right. Well, anyway, I won't keep dragging it out, man. Like Wonder Woman dragged now. That's our review for today for Wonder Woman 1984. Our spoiler discussion. You know, we talked about a lot. We want you guys to like, comment, and subscribe. Let us know your opinion on what we talked about. Do you have anything we missed? Anything you want to point out from the movie? Feel free to do so. It's very, very good to be able to watch a movie and talk about it with my partner here.
Yes, sir.
We can't wait to do more with, you know, this year, 2021. We're all hoping and praying a lot more will come out in the theaters, more for us to review. And look for us also, Big Mike and Little Ant show will be done on Sunday, so that'll be out next week. Also, I'll be back with another episode of Beyond the Trenches. That took off a week. I'll be back with that on Tuesday. So everything's moving along for 2021.
That's right, guys. And make sure you check out our playlist because we have everything. Like if you've missed Beyond the Trenches, if you've missed some of our reviews, if you've missed Half Court Trap, like all this stuff is in a playlist. So you guys can easily click on it and catch up to stuff you've seen. So we have a lot of content. So if you just tuned into us now, there's a lot to see, a lot to catch up on. So thank you for watching.
Well, for that, man, I'm Big Mike.
And I'm Little Ant.
Out.